Hey, everybody. Today we're in another one of our really fun short sections where we bring an expert in and we just throw a question at them. And they really don't get to prep and everything, but it gets you the inside the mind of PS leaders on a broad topic, a broad group of topics. Um, and so we pick one out of the list. And today we're going to be talking about the importance of investing in others to make our life complete and everything. And Elie is joining us again. You guys know him, although he's a little hairier now than last time we saw him. He has moved back into his home after the renovation. Elie, tell us a little bit what's going on. Tell
Yeah.
us about your childhood, your first girlfriend, whatever.
No. Oh, I'm sure everyone would love to hear about that, but I don't think everybody has 2 hours to hear about that story. But yeah, just quickly about me. Born and raised in Toronto, love it here. As a young child, I knew I wanted to be into the IT space, so I used to like do all kinds of things to generate extra money when I was a kid, from working on your old Nintendo consoles and making sure people could get what they need on those things, and like your old Xboxes. So I was always like a person that was a customer satisfaction from like a young age and in the IT space, and working from like when I'm basically a teenager as your local IT support guy for the building I lived in, up until now being the director of professional services here at BioConnect. And it's been a wonderful journey, and I love working with people all the time, man. I always like making sure I like listening to them, hearing their vision, and delivering on their project goals. That's what makes me the
Yeah.
happiest.
And you have such a great personality. It's always a pleasure to have you on. So, talk a little bit about why it's so important in the richness of our lives to invest in other people.
Absolutely. Like for me, it's now being a leader in services and having a team that I work with. There's a couple ways I like to look at it. There's two types of people I find, right? There's rocks and there's rockets, and I think it's important that you identify the type of people that you work with, right? The people that are rocks are fine with happy with being where they are. I'll just give you an example with that BioConnect. We have a rock. He loves working with hardware. He loves working with customers. He loves that day to day work that he likes to do. Where I have other people that are rockets that need that career path. I want to be able to grow from where they're at today and become a manager or a director or a vice president one day in services, as an example. So I think it's extremely important to identify first the type of people that you have that you work with, and then from there you know how to invest your time into them, ensuring that you're delivering what they need and what they're looking for. How I like to tackle that is I like to do monthly one-on-ones. I stripped it down from weekly because I meet with my guys every day. We take a 15-minute stand-up every day just to see what if they have any blockers on any of their projects and how I can help them to remove any of their blockers. Again, customer satisfaction is our number one thing that we want to make sure we deliver. And beyond that, so I pruned it down to once a month, and I just had one this morning with one of my team members, and just to hear him out on what personal challenges he has and what he would like to see and how I can help him. From there, it's a 30-minute conversation. I take some notes and see what I can do to help grow, either providing them additional tools, if it's the rock, as I said, in terms of making their day-to-day lives easier, making them more efficient, or if there's a rocket that I'm working with, is what visions I have for them and how they can grow where we're at, and what visions they have for themselves and how they can grow. And typically I find if you are aligned with your team members and you actually hear them and listen to them, you can see the growing theme I have. Really listen to your customers and your people. You'll know exactly what they're looking for. You might be a little bit off, but you typically will understand. You'll be aligned when you have that conversation with them as to where they're trying to go, especially with the folks that are rockets, and try to make them and keep them happy, right?
Yeah, yeah. Now, when I saw this question, I was particularly excited that you and I might get to talk about it because, at this stage of my career, now that I'm in my 20s, at this stage of my career, I'm doing all of this podcast, everything is my give back to the professional service industry. And you and I've gotten to know each other and
Yes.
we're friends. And to me, that may be the most, at the end of my time, 30 years from now, that may be the most rewarding thing I've done or been involved in. One of the things my father said to me, and I am the son of a guy who was a partner in an accounting firm, became an Episcopal priest, then became a missionary. So as he would say, his income went down as his career went on. But he always told me, at the end, you're not going to be sad you missed that one meeting. but you'll be very conscious of the people you were involved in. So I do think and I like the way you brought it up to right where you are today. You don't have to do something crazy and fancy. Right where you are today, you can make an impact on the people around you, right? And
Mhm.
can really make their job work more enjoyable, make their help them with what their trauma. We're all going through some kind of trauma at different times. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
that being conscious every day and the people around us and pouring into them is probably the mark of a great leader.
Thank you for that. And Dean, you're absolutely right. Like for me, it's I like to apply the same principles to my customers, to my team. And I like to be fair down the middle, right? And I tell my team that too, right? That when you want to invest in people, it's just be fair. Like I will be the first person to tell you if you screw up, but I will also be the first person to tell you if you did something great. And that's the way I like to roll, right? It's just being fair down the middle. And then even if things go wrong with a person, like and they make a mistake, what I explain to people I work with in the past and now is one-off mistakes, I don't care. Water off my back, let's learn from it, let's move on. If there's a pattern of the same mistake, that's when I get concerned. So that's typically the messaging I like to do when I'm investing in my team, and they know how I like to operate. But at the same time, every time they do something great, I make sure I congratulate them in front of everybody so that they feel good that they've done something awesome. And I want to know that it's just not me seeing it. I want everyone else to see it. So these are
Absolutely.
little things I like to do when I invest on my time with my team members and making sure that they get the recognition that they deserve from the hard work that they poured into any project or any body of work with a customer.
Yeah, I think that the way we give matter of fact, I just wrote an article on this. The way we give feedback, even if someone has to leave, we can still be helping them,
Hmm.
right? And the way we give feedback on a correct, a tool I like to use is, hey, you're struggling with this. Let me get you a coach internally, somebody who's good at that. Or we all have, whether we admit it or not, we have a 2x2 going on. One is, do you fit? Are we the right
Hmm.
place for you? And are you being productive? Right.
Hmm.
And if I find you're off on fit or off on, we can, as long as you're willing to try, we can help, right? But I have had many people leave working with me over a long career, and almost to a person, they're friends, almost to
Hmm.
a person. And if somebody comes in, they're leaving. I know this because you used this example with me one time. I want to encourage them, right? It's not about me and us. It's, oh, you want to go do something else. You're excited about something. How can we help?
Hmm.
Because again, like you said, the relationships are what last, right?
You're absolutely right. And Dean, I want to focus on one little thing that you mentioned there, and it's just for the younger generation, that word effort. And it's something that I'm trying to push to my nephews that are younger, right? They're just wrapping up high school, they're going into college or university. And I told them, listen, I'm going to level with you. No one's going to care that if you have a GPA of a 4.0. What they're going to care is effort, effort, effort. At the end of the day, if you go home and your grade's a C plus, but you ask yourself this question, did I do everything I could to achieve this? Then you could feel good about yourself. And that's what counts in the workplace, right? It's sometimes it's not the smartest person, it's the person that's willing to put their heart and soul into a project are the people I love to work with because I know I can either teach them or train them or help fill any gap that they have, either to your point, somebody else at the company that may be a specialist in what they're trying to do, or something I can do, or look into continuous education to help fill any of that gap. So for me, it's effort, and I love that you touched on it because I think it's very important that the younger generation that's coming into the workplace that understands that if you work hard, good things happen at the end of the day.
I have 5 kids. One of my daughters, she took a job with a software company out of
Mhm.
Canada,
Love
coinky
it.
dink, out of Toronto. Anyway, she said, "Boy, everybody's so smart here. How do I get along with my career?" And I said, "Outwork them." She
Hmm.
goes, and I left it right there. She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Just outwork them."
Hmm.
And she's done really well. Now, whether she took my advice or not, I don't know, but she's done really well. But yeah, just it's not that hard. And you're right. I would rather help someone who I know is trying and making the effort than someone I have to beg to make the effort.
Hmm.
And we've all seen really smart, capable people who underachieved, not just at work, but in life in general, because it couldn't be bought. Matter of fact, and then I'll ask you to leave us with a takeaway, but I had a situation with a friend overseas that needed some work who'd come from our industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a big training contract across Europe. He lived in Europe. He's a European. And I said, hey, why don't you come and work on this project for us in Poland? I can get you some money and da, 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 da. Yeah, Poland's 2 flights. I don't want to do it. Well, that changed my view of helping him.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't mean for it to, but I immediately went to, well, I don't care, right? I don't care as much because I just offered you money and help and gave you money that is my firm's money that I could use on an employee to help you. And it's 2 flights. So anyway, leave us with a mark of your secret sauce, of what's the number one thing we should be concerned about helping our employees.
Yeah, absolutely. Dean, it's for me, like I said earlier, it's just listen. People will tell you, either the customer or the people you work with every day. They may not say it direct, and but if you just listen and you implement some simple things like a monthly one-on-one would be my recommendation. I typically set those up, gloves off, say whatever you want. If you want to swear up and down and complain about things, no problem. I'm here to listen. This is your time. And then once that's done, I ask them, what can I do better to help you? Or what I can do better for the entire department. I'm open-ended like that. As long as you're open for any kind of constructive criticism, I think that's how you can grow as a person and how you can help your teammates grow around you as well.
Amen. Listen, listen, listen. Hey, thanks again. Hope I want to see you again. Now, as you grow your Russian beard, I can't wait. I can't wait till next time when it's like here to here. And then you could write like Russian novels. But
I
Russian
will
novels, I
try.
was talking to a guy, I was talking to a Google executive this morning. He goes, I just finished a Russian novel. Are they always depressed? I go, yeah, every one of them is depressed.
Oh,
Every
goodness.
Russian novel. Anyway, thanks so much. See you again soon. Okay.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate your time, sir.